Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations.
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor.
Impatience and change of pace. James wasn't the same when he returned from the works. He trudged along with slow goods trains, hardly saying anything to anyone. When the work was done, he came home to the sheds and fell asleep without saying a word. I knew the express was important to him, Henry said to Edward, but not to this extent. Even the Prospero Poor and Dowager had a special exclusion. Edward was worried and spoke to Sir Topham Hatt the next day. A few days later, James found himself working at Edward's station. He shut the trucks in the yard and took Henry's trucks while Henry pulls the express. Unfortunately, it didn't have the effect Edward hoped for. Disgraceful, James grunted. Imagine pulling the express one week and being confined to a branch line the next. Oh, come now, James, Edward smiled. I'm certainly glad you are here, and besides, it's a nice change of pace. Far from grace, if you ask me, grumbled James, and he bumped some trucks. Now, for all his kindness, Edward had a tendency to be impatient. This was especially true when it came to his own train. He hated having to be late. He wasn't as fast as the other engines and don't like making up the lost time. Though he tried to be understanding, Edward's patience was very thin. James refused to bank trains up Gordon's Hill and was sluggish with shunting. Time and time again, Edward was left picking up the slack. And what time did you call this? Fussed Donald and Douglas as Edward pulled in. I'm sorry, Donald and Douglas. As me and Dougie are late, we have no time for excuses. Hey, I suggest you don't let this happen, Edward. So double hat won't like this. And Donald and Douglas puffed away with the second express. Edward was for sure that Sir Topplehat would like him being late. And he didn't. And after more delayed trains, he told Edward as such. Not wanting to make James feel worse, he took the blame upon himself. "I'm sorry, sir," said Edward. "It won't happen again." When Edward returned, he found his yard in disarray, and he had a sinking feeling that it would happen again. He frowned when he saw James sulking around. "We do have a timetable, you know." "Pah!" snorted James. "It's just a branch line, and there's no way there's an express to keep." "That is enough," interrupted Edward. "There's more to life than the express. You don't even try to keep things in order. I accept my trains on my branch to run on timely, and if you can't do that, go back to sulking in your shed." Before James could reply, Emily arrived with the express, and she whistled for a banker. "Don't worry, I'll get it," said Edward sharply. Soon Emily with the express and Edward right behind her arrived at Gordon's Hill. Come on," he huffed hastily, pushing the train up the hill. "Oh, I say, Edward, settle down back there," said Emily. Not so fast, grumbled the coaches. At last, Emily made it to the top, and Edward rushed back to the yard. Meanwhile, the trucks had noticed the look of guilt on James's face. "It's been lovely knowing you all, but I'll be bound to the scrapyard if this horrid thing keeps pushing me around," said the old truck. "Takes a lot to upset Edward," commented the second truck. Cut it as an express engine. He is not much of a shunter either." "That's enough." James bumped the two trucks so hard that it rolled down to the main line. And at that moment, Edward appeared. He didn't see the trucks coming down or the signal. James saw this and puffed off to the scene. "Oh dear, I didn't mean for that to happen." Soon Stanley arrived with the breakdown train and Sir Topplehat. "I am disappointed in you, James," he said. "Edward asked me to send you here to take your mind off of your mishap. This is not a kind way to thank him. I expect for you to pull your weight while Edward is expected. Do I make myself clear?" James was ashamed, and the message was crystal clear. James worked the hardest he had all week. He tidied up the yard and banking trains while Edward was being looked over. That evening, James visited Edward at the works. "I'm sorry, Edward," James said. "I have been nothing but a nuisance since I arrived. That accident couldn't have been avoided if I had been so hasty. I'm sorry I was rude too. I know these changes have been hard for you, said Edward. Well, if I don't handle simple stuff, such as branch line trains, maybe I don't deserve to pull the express. Well, tomorrow seems like a perfect chance of a fresh start, smiled Edward. There is a passenger train to take, and my coaches will be thrilled to pull by a mainline engine like you, James. And for the first time in days, James smiled. A fresh start was just what he needed.
This isn't my train! Donald, you shunted the wrong train! Get over here and fix it! I've got a better idea! Why don't I bring over someone whose job it is to fix it? You know why? Because when I need a job done, I'll get an engine with a job to do that job! What are you saying? Take the children to the carnival? Why? What have children ever done for me? You want your coach back? Take it! Now Douglas can come back, right? Wrong. That's not my special coach. Then have some more coaches. I got plenty of them. You can't put a price on my special coach. And I won't forgive that careless engine Douglas for losing it. Listen, you useless blade puffball. James has been working on my line driving me crazy. And you're not going to bring Douglas back home because of a stupid coach.
The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. There are lots and lots of engines. Who's that puffing along the track? It's James. James is a bright red engine. He has the number 5 painted on his tender, a bright brass dome, and 6 strong driving wheels that clickety-clack along the tracks of Sodor. James is the only red engine, and he is very proud of his red coat. One day, James had a bright new coat of red paint. He wanted all the other engines to tell him how wonderful he looked. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt told James to help Percy at the coaling plant. But James went to gaze at his reflection in the canal. At last, James arrived. The yard manager told him to take an extra long line of freight cars to Brendam Docks. James was very happy. There were a lot of people at the docks to tell him how splendid he looked. But the freight cars were very troublesome. They wriggled and giggled. They biffed and they bashed and covered James in coal dust. When James arrived at Brendam, his bright red coat was very dirty. Luckily, James is never too proud to see the funny side. But his pride can get him into a lot of trouble. There was to be a new holiday poster for the island of Sodor. Sir Topham Hatt chose Edward to be the poster engine. James was upset. He and Edward were almost the same. James decided to do everything he could to be the poster engine. He tried to get into the poster photograph, but Sir Topham Hatt sent him away. Thomas and Percy told James that Edward was chosen because he was gentle. And Edward didn't mind doing dirty jobs. So James was gentle at the coaling yard. But that made him late. James took the express track to race Edward. He was just in front when a signal turned red. James screeched to a halt. But Edward couldn't stop in time. Edward ran into James, and James shot straight through the poster. Now James was the poster engine. James knows when he has gone too far. And then he helps his friends. That's because James is a really useful red engine, and he shines most of all when he is with his friends.